Okay, so what I probably want to look at first is the payables homepage because I'm ready to pay my credit card statement. So I'm going to go to the payables, which is in my liabilities again because I'm putting money out. It's liability. And I'm going to hit go, and it's going to break it down for me. Now, if you notice, it has all of the credit card or the Colorado Bank credit card transactions in here. So this number could get pretty high, and it could stay pretty high, but then once you get your statement and you start matching up and send a payment, then it goes lower. You're going to be looking in that payables all the time. So as I was telling you before, everything's going to show up in a different spot. Now that this is a reimbursement for things that you had put on account, it's going to put the total in the splits column because we're going to end up, splitting up payments and stuff. We're going to end up working with all these in a different way. This isn't a purchase order. If you have reimbursements, they're going to show up in the reimbursement side. I'm wondering why it's not. Okay. So anyhow, say we wanted to pay our bill, and we actually only wanted to pay $1,000. So we would go ahead and select the amount that we owe for the credit card in the payables, and we're going to say, okay, we're only going to pay $1,000, so we're going to select a few of them, and this is the part where you actually have to have your calculator. And we're going to say we are going to pay $1,000. So we're going to take away the 1014.
Not a physical one like this.
And I'm pulling the amounts from here, oldest to newest.
On certain places you can kind of calculate stuff, but like once again, we didn't know even where you were going to start. So maybe a good idea, and maybe I'll even just make the idea right now, is maybe we can have a new little box at the top saying, how much would you like to pay? And then I can help you do the math. But if I don't know how much you're going to pay, that's why there's no automatic calculations there. It's kind of like, here's what you've got.
It might be a minimum payment.
Yeah, yeah.
Just not even covering one of them.
Sure.
But that's why you have your handy, cool calculator accessory.
You know what? When you use Adilas, even though Adilas is an online tool, I recommend paper and pencil. I recommend a calculator, and I recommend possibly even multiple windows or multiple screens or multiple tabs or multiple windows. You may be in different spots at different times all over the place, okay?
Yeah, I prefer, you know how you can go to the logo and you can open up new tabs. You can also open up new windows. And I'm a toggler. I'm not a tabber. So I'll open a whole nother window up instead. So if I'm sitting here and I'm working on my, my expense receipt homepage here, and then I'm working on, and so you just alt and tab, and it'll take you back to what you're doing. I mean, I'm a toddler. I don't like doing the tabs up here. I don't know why. It's one of my things.
The only reason I have multiple tabs up is because I have specific pieces that I use for training, but I'm mostly a multi-window because then I can move it around, I can size it, I have more options. I like multiple windows versus tabs.
And I think I'm a window person, a toddler too, because sometimes you're working offline. You're looking at the bank, and then you're looking at the actual Adilas. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I want to toggle. I don't want to tab. You know what I mean? Sure. I'll just look at the, I don't know why.
I've run into that before too, and we used to do that was because if something happens and one of them times out, then you're like,
oh, that's true.
And so
okay, see, there is a reason. I wasn't sure what it was. I've been doing it so long. Yeah.
So when you have a payable and you, for example, when you make the entry where you're paying it off, so does Adilas go automatically to adjust your balance sheet liabilities so the payables go down and then the cash go down so it doesn't go out of the way?
Yep, we'll look at it as soon as we're done. To just show.
You can even look at it right now.
Keeps track, just like it did with the purchase orders and you paying partial purchase orders.
Yeah.
It does the same thing with your payables when you partially pay a credit card or.
Right. No, I'm saying when it does, so it obviously reduces your payable balance. Will it also in turn automatically reduce your cash balance on one side of the balance sheet?
That's correct. So what happens is,
I will have to pay that.
What ends up happening, and this is kind of cool,
right,
especially our expenses, you have all these little sub-expenses that are paying for my credit card, here's my gas, here's my snacks for the class, here's my this, okay? These are all independent little items that they might have been started at different times, but what we do to actually get all that stuff is we go like this. Sweet, I'm going to grab you and you and you and you, and now I'm going to make one expense receipt, and I'm going to distribute the payment so all these ones are satisfied, then that's what actually adjusts the bank balance. That one payment
That one expense.
that you make out that's $1,000. That's what actually flips the cash back and forth. Okay.
You're going way ahead of the game trying to get into balancing and stuff, huh? What's your name?
I'm Jerry.
Yuri? Okay, so what I did was I just went into my calculator and I put my, what did I say, $1,000, and I just started subtracting from the oldest credit card payment because, you know, maybe the last payment you made, you stopped right there. Now, if you stopped just like the PO and making an expense to pay off your POs, remember how it didn't always equal? And you had to delve into one of the other POs, but you only paid $100 from it, which left a little? Same thing here. Maybe in the last part you paid a little off, but you left a little. It'll still keep track of that for you. So all I did was just put the $1,000 in my calculator. I subtracted 1014, 3118, 2139, and 165. Now I have 772.29 left. So what I'm going to do is take that number from the 1,200, and that's going to tell me how much to take out of the 1,200, right? Did I do that backwards?
Or you
I'm
just
doing it a little
swipe that.
backwards.
Correct, correct.
Or I put that amount.
You just put that amount in that value,
Yeah.
and that adds it up.
Either way, okay. So 772.29.
Awesome. I'm
So-
going to let her go to the next page, but Yuri asked, like, where is this? Like, and you know that it's already going to do it, but I'm going to have you go to the next step, and we're going to kind of stop. We're going to go to a different browser, and I want to show you physically where it's at, and then when we physically pay it, we'll go back to that same spot and say, oh, look how it altered this. I think that's the piece that you want to see, okay?
Where do you want me to go?
Let's go balance sheet for just a second. Hit go, and just say get values for today's date is great, and go to splits. So down and then up a couple straight across.
I'm not seeing splits. I look at this
Yep,
all the
go
time.
down right there, quick. Okay, so basically it's saying that, hey, currently I have a whole bunch, 1,500 that's owed to Colorado, the credit card company. Okay, so the balance sheet was currently holding all of those values, okay? If we also went back, hit back a couple times, just for a second, one more time. Okay, so my bank balance, right now we haven't set it all up, but it's currently, is that a negative 50 or 30? I can't tell.
30.
Okay, so basically what I want to show you is once she does this next thing, it's going to alter both of those pieces. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the piece that you wanted to see.
So I'm going to go back to the other tab, and I'm going to go, and you have to select all of the items that you're going to make a payment towards, just like the other example we had, and you're just going to hit pay. It's going to add them up just like it did for the POs, and it's going to say full payment, partial payment, full payment, so on and so forth for $1,000. It's going to make it today. It's going to automatically populate that you're paying these expenses. Last time it said you were paying those POs. And it's going to say, how did you pay it? Okay, we paid it with a check. What if we paid it with ACH?
Yeah, or an EFT or
however,
whatever.
we'll say check. Just because. And we're going to say it's $13.05. And what type of transaction are we dealing with here? Reimbursement.
Actually, this would be
I'm sorry, a
splits.
split.
Yeah.
We have
We're
some
just-
reimbursement.
The reason we're paying back a split is it's already on account, so it's already technically been, put in a bucket so that it already hit our income statement under gas and food and I don't know and whatever. So this one right here is kind of like, don't worry, I've already got it calculated. I'm just basically making an entry against cash. That's why you would say that's what that particular type would be.
So it populated most of it. We just want to, if you're doing your books after the fact, you may want to manipulate the date of when you actually did pay that. And then you just select the split, and then you're going to create the receipt. Now you can view your expense receipt, and it's going to tell you up here on the top right that there's subs. There's different players with this transaction. So right here, just looking at the expense itself, we know it was to the credit card company, when it was, how much it was. It even has the notes that it created itself saying which expenses it's in relation to and how we paid it. But if you really want to get down to make sure, sometimes you mess up on your credit card statement and maybe you didn't include one, or you have to backtrack because you have to push it back, otherwise it won't reconcile properly forward. Then you can just look at your subs, and it'll break it down specifically as to this expense was part of all these expenses. We paid off number 12, we paid off number 11, 8, 9, 7, we paid all of these. Now,
This is kind of just gathering it all in together.
now when the accountant or bookkeeper or whomever is looking at it, now this part's done, but remember all these people were entering stuff in with not sure. that's fine. All you have to do is, at this point, you can look at it so many different ways. You can look at your expense receipt
So hang on just one
homepage,
second. Before we fix these, I just want to show them that it actually adjusted some stuff. Flip
In
to
the
your other
balance
tab. Let's go to the balance sheet and just hit refresh. Okay, so watch this. Now you'll notice under splits I only have 500 now instead of 1,500. Okay, and then my bank balance also got altered. So both pieces, correct. So basically both pieces got altered by that action, but I was virtually able to scoop up all those little miniature pieces. And now, according to our system, we only owe the credit card company $500, you know, instead of the $1,500 that originally was there. So does that make sense, Yuri, how things are tracking through that way? Sweet. Now she's kind of going back and saying, okay, I still have some cleanup work I need to do.
So
I
now
got
just-
stuff in the wrong buckets.
Just to not confuse within the statement itself, you can do it here, yes, you can go into edit each one of them and change the category, or going back to what we were kind of talking about before, I'm just going to go home in the other tab, I'm going to go to my profit and loss, and later on down the line, I'm going to my profit and loss. So now you're going to see your not sures again like we did before, but now we can actually address them. So it just depends on how you want to look at it, but you obviously need to expense everything properly, otherwise your P&L is not going to reflect what you really paid stuff for. So I didn't want to confuse you by doing it within the debit card payment as, you know, that way. So I just went home and I went to my reports to look at my P&L, and I hit go, and I showed everything. That's the only button I ever use there. I don't know if anybody else does, but I see everything. So I just went there, and now I see my expense lines and my not sures. So to clean those up, if everybody could just go home and do that, I can have you create an account type. So you're going to go home, you're going to go to your system reports, drop down, you're going to select your income statement, your P&L, and you're going to hit go. Once you get there, you need the dates as is, and you just select the last bubble before the get numbers box that says show everything. You're going to scroll down your P&L all the way to the bottom to where the expenses are, and it's going to say not sure, and you're going to click on the little blue not sure link. And just let me know when you have the list of the expenses that we're not sure about.
So what happened here, just as a brief thing, you guys were all hammering stuff into the system, and now what she's doing is she's virtually saying, guess what, I'm a little past where they were doing some data entry helping me. I'm now going to lightly sweep the floor and kind of make sure that that was actually attributed to the correct account, okay?
Not only that, but I think that, I don't know, the last time when I trained, I did it that way. I kind of like did a little segment of what I did, and then I asked if you guys had any questions, and then I asked if, what time is it? Okay. And then I had people put things in, because I'm the type of person that I have to hear it, I have to see it, I have to write it, I have to do it. I do it all. So just so that you feel more comfortable doing it, I think it's good that you do an expense. I think it's good that you do a deposit. I think it's good that you do an account type. You may forget it later, and that's fine, but the next time you do it, even if you have to get instruction again, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's just how it works. So, you know, it'll help you guys do it piece by piece.
Awesome. So let's talk briefly about where we can now see we have a number of entries that need some help. How are we going to go create new buckets for those things? Where would you guys go? Currently,
Homepage, expense receipt homepage.
Great, that's a great spot to go. Go ahead and go to your expense receipt
And while we're
homepage.
there, it says reimbursement switch is turned off.
Well, what
So
I would do right now, since we're all in the same spot, is I would go to your specific receipt,
okay,
and I would go to edit.
all right.
So whatever receipts you created, go to edit on the right side.
Now we can make our own.
Now
create
you
a
can
new.
go in the middle section where it says not sure. You can hit edit on the left, and now you can add your account type. Are we all in the same spot? So add your account type, and then mine was for furniture. So I'm going to select my grouping, and if you kind of look around at what's there, let's see, that's going to be a fixed expense. Some of you have, what do you have, office supplies? If you have office supplies, I think supplies is there, so you're going to pick your fixed expense supplies. What else do people have? Gas?
There was some gas I saw in there.
Okay, so you can go ahead and pick
expense semi-fixed.
the gas and fuel and oil. Does anybody else have anything else that wasn't office supplies or?
And
We have
it's,
snacks.
Okay.
if there isn't all the stuff here, you can technically build your own. You just have to go a
Yeah,
little
if you
deeper
wanted to, you could build your own.
own.
That's where, if you're saying snacks, was it something that maybe you were on the go and you just got a coffee?
No, it
Or
was
you
30
went to
bucks
the-
worth. So
Did you
for-
take a client out to eat?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you can go ahead and put it
Under
under,
food right there, go down just a
where
little
is it
bit.
at?
Right
There it is, food. So you're going to select food as your grouping. Mine is furniture, which is actually something that you purchase and it's a fixed asset versus like, you know, a supply or whatnot. So I'm actually going to
You bought the
pick,
furniture for your office, it's technically a supply, right?
Well,
Well-
once again, and this kind of comes back to accounting. Is
It
this
all
like
depends on what you
major,
wanna
major
do.
furniture that has a real value and you want to depreciate it? Or is it like, I just had to put some chairs and tables up? Okay?
yeah, so we could make whatever we want to make
You
here.
could, why don't you go like this, supplies,
And then just put
office
office
furnishing.
furniture? Okay,
Yep.
I'll do that. So now, whatever you decided to pick or what was appropriate for your grouping, then you put whatever you want it to appear as in your P&L. So I'm going to put office furniture in mine. This is going to be where you're going to put office supplies in yours. I'm kind of tedious like this, so I'll put a big O and a big F because that's how it's going to show up on my P&L. And I might give that to people. You just stay consistent. And then you have to put something in the asterisk field as well. So I really just put, you know, whatever you're trying to do. Expense all office furniture here. And then you're just going to hit add. Once you add your grouping and whatever you just created, it'll kick you back to your expense receipt. You go back to the middle section again, and instead it'll still say not sure, so now you need to edit it on the left, and you need to do the drop down, and now whatever you added will be there. I see office supplies, I see gas, so pick whatever it was that you, and again, like Brandon was saying, this comes back to however your accountant or CPA or whomever, or even owners, how they wanted to show things in their P&L, however they want their chart of accounts or whatever you want to call it to look like. So you cater this to how they want it. So that's why in the beginning when I start working with clients, I don't ever teach them to do this, because you could be teaching them and then later on they're like, oh no, I don't want it that way, or, you know, well, I have to talk to my accountant. You know, it's okay to do the not sure thing. You saw how fast it was to just go into the profit and loss and clean up your not sures. You know, you can fix that later and create your accounts then.
But if you did create it and put it to something, once you drop down and you say, and you put it in, and then your accountant says, well, let's change it to this, can you go back
You
and
can.
change it to what item they wanted it to be?
You can.
So you can go ahead and list it, instead of saying, oh, I'm not sure, and having a million of them, and then going, what is this? You can list it as what you thought it was going to be, and like, let's change it, can you go back and?
So I'm going to go to my other tab.
But the difference would be, you may not remember which ones, and you could have just.
All data is live and searchable.
Well, I'm going to show you.
It will be categorized according to how you told it, even if it was wrong. Then you just pull the ones that are wrong and you go flip them to what they need to be right. It might be a micro sweep job, okay? Pretend that you just spilled something off the counter. You just have to do a little cleanup job. It takes you 5 minutes. You're on your way.
Yeah,
So
instead of
say-
not having, oh, I'm not sure, you know, you at least listed it to something that
Yeah.
you could remember.
But then you need to make a punch list of which ones you want to edit. where
Right.
You can look at.
So say now,
See, that looks so much better already.
so now I went into my P&L just like before, and I see the new P&L because now I have internet in there, I have bank fees, I have furniture, I have supplies, I even have gas and oil. So now, you know, you can actually click on the different links and find out, well, what makes up my gas?
So it looks
All
to me
these
like
guys.
somebody actually physically changed some groupings on the
Yeah.
not sure pieces. So they actually edited the physical account. Like, hit back one more time to go to the P&L for just a second. Check this out.
They're
So,
all gas fuel.
so somebody actually, what they did was they actually clicked on the, oh, I'm not sure, inside of the edited account type, and then they flipped the grouping, which was the top little selection. So,
Oh, is that why it still says not sure?
correct. So basically, like,
That might have been me, because I was lost.
no problem.
That's okay. So what I did is just, and if you wanna look from within here, it depends on where you wanna look since we're already in here. We're looking from the P&L, remember, and we selected gas and fuel. And now we notice that there's a discrepancy. So you can go into that one. I know we're gonna have to change more than one, so we probably should have went through the home page. But anyway, you can go edit here. You can go to your types and find out what happened. Well, what happened is not fuel got kind of mixed up with the gas and fuel, the not sure. So you can actually click on the not sure, and you can go ahead
hang on
and
just 1 second.
change.
The grouping up at the top.
Yeah.
Change that to the I'm not sure, or the
So we change this,
and
and
leave that to the not sure.
we'll make this not sure. And
So
then,
what happened was Joe just flipped the grouping at the top. He was actually in edit mode of that particular account instead of actually adding his new one, saying, hey, I want a new one with gas one. Can I just make a new one?
so now we don't have
Okay,
gas, so you can do it now.
let's just pretend for a second we're here, okay? And you come in here, I want to manage my updates, okay? Scroll down and look
So
like everything
a
with
quick
gas.
cool trick right here, you can actually go
So what you do
by your back
is you
arrow
add
in the
those
browser,
like
whatever you
this.
call it. You
Let's
can go
ahead and
down and
find
you can
the
actually go
gas
back to wherever you were at without having to back, or
name.
go home and start over. You can actually go back right there.
So
You
this
can
is where
refresh
your
it if you think you
disconnect
did a
right
bunch of things or whatever you
there. Does
did.
that make sense, how you're creating?
It's just kind of a shortcut. So now you have your not sures again. I just kind of want to see.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to fix, just by you guys looking now, I'm going to go into my office supplies and I'm going to say that this is actually office supplies.
Then go ahead and say add.
It's going to kick me back in. Now that's right. I'm going to go back to my little drop-down window. I'm going to go back to my P&L.
So
I'm gonna refresh
what I
it.
was trying to go to my specific
Okay, so
expense.
well, we're gonna, if you know the specific
I'm gonna go back
expense,
to my
I'm gonna
not
go right
sures.
to it. Just go
I'm going to fix
expense
my,
receipt right there. And type in your number.
does somebody want to go to their P&L? A couple people? Go to your P&L,
So what you wanna
do
do is
the
you wanna
expanded or
go
full search. Click on your not sures to where you're at the screen that I'm at.
click edit.
Okay, this is where
And now because you already added it.
And
Go to your what?
so you're going to go to your reports from the home page. You're going to go to your
I
P&L.
was supposed to include.
You're going to hit go.
You're the one who
If you refresh.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure either.
I just changed 9, sorry.
Oh,
But it's,
okay. I was like, I thought we went down. I'm all, what?
mm-mm.
Okay, so if you want to get to this page to where you went through your P&L, you clicked on your not sure and your expenses, and now you should have these 4 expenses up.
Okay.
And Liz? Yes. Sorry. So Liz, if you could go ahead and select expense receipt number 4 and go to edit and fix that to the appropriate account type.
You know what, we just barely added a gas, fuel, and oil, so that
It
the
should
the
be there?
Sinclair oil one, there
Okay.
should be a gas and oil one that you can actually do.
Okay. So, so sorry, we need name tags. in
You have
this.
Paul,
Paul? Paul, I need you to go to expense receipt number 13. And I need you to go to edit, and I need you to look for,
postage, probably, or something like
yeah,
that.
which we had not created. So can you add that expense type for postage?
I'm trying to get to where you're at.
Okay, go to reports, go home,
I went, oh, okay.
go to system report, P&L,
I went to piano.
hit go,
Yes.
go down all the way to your expenses towards the bottom and go to not sure.
No, you just need to go one deeper. Just click on that, okay, she actually ran a report.
Yeah, the full bubble,
Yeah, click
the
there.
expanded search.
I did.
Perfect, you just need to go down.
Go all the way down to your expenses till you see not sure.
Yeah.
Alright.
Now you're gonna go,
See, she has the 3, I was looking
Once
for.
if you click it, you'll actually be right where she's at. Okay.
so now you're gonna go to expense receipt number 13, which is on the left, the numbers, and you're gonna go to edit on the right and click edit.
Right now.
You're gonna click edit and you're gonna go to the middle where it says not sure
Mhm.
and hit edit. And you're gonna go to the drop down and see what you got in there. You don't have one for postage, right? So now you're gonna add or edit a type,
Okay.
okay? When you add or edit the type, then the grouping you're gonna select is already in there. It says semi-fixed postage.
Okay.
These are so helpful. It's rare you have to add an account type, really. Postage, and then you're going to type in there postage, you know, and then in the description, you're going to put expense all postage here.
Just so you know, there is some security in there, like if somebody's trying to add postage and somebody else wants to add postage, it's like, man, sorry.
Oh, okay.
It does try to help you in that way.
It does? Okay.
Is there a duplicate protection for those?
It depends on the area, okay? So basically, there is some duplicate protection, but in some places we're like, okay, you know what? There might be 2 John Smiths, I don't really care. But I don't duplicate check there, but I will on an expense type, if that makes sense. So certain places we do it.
Okay, so you went ahead and added that, and once you're done adding it, then it's going to go ahead and kick you back into the expense,
He's already done.
and you'll be able to
Just
do
have to
it.
go
So
to your
I'm
PL
going
and check it
to
out.
go back, and then I'm going to refresh, and then if somebody could fix number 11,
Awesome, that was a piece of cake. That's okay, good job.
and you're going to have to create an account type that says
There's one for food
food. Okay.
and for client meetings with food.
See, it really depends on what people want to do, because
Yeah.
I have like a meals on the go type food for me, and then I have like a client meals, because if I take someone out to eat or,
Is that a
you
Yeah.
know, it's kind
You
of,
know, it
Whatever
really
you want.
depends
It's
on-
whatever you
on
want.
And just so you know, we have multiple people who have power here. Usually you don't have 10 people
Yeah.
running one expense.
it
So
really is whatever
it's
you
very
want.
possible that somebody might do it to this and somebody else is going to flip to something else. And it's okay, it'll just keep recording like
Yeah, the history will be there, right?
The history will totally be there. But just so you know, in case you're changing it, somebody may actually override you just because we have 10 chefs working on the same pot of stew right now. So.
I'll just wait and then I'll.
So I hope everybody feels a little more comfortable about that, about dealing with your account types, because that is kind of intimidating, whether you've worked with chart of accounts and such or not. When you get to a new element and a new system, everybody's kind of like, you know, well, how does that work? You know, it's just like anything else in the system. You have to just use it and do it and mess around, you know, work with it. There is one expense that Paul, yes, Paul created. So I'm just going to go home, and I'm going to go to my expense receipt homepage, because I just want to see where it's at. It was pretty recent. We just did it. So this one was to Brandon Moore. It was expense receipt number 15 up on the screen.
No, I did the 5421.
Oh, you did the 5420. Oh, a little down, Brandon. I did a Brandon. Okay. So number 10 is 5421. Now, this was part of his expenses, but he paid cash. So he didn't pay with the company credit card. So it's not going to go in the company credit card reconciliation or payment. It's going to come back to him in a form of either going to pay him out of your cash drawer or you're going to pay him a check. So what I wanted to show you is that as an expense receipt, they're all expense receipts because we're paying somebody something. What you want to do is go in your edit main, because again, this is the main information about this expense. For a reimbursement, the only difference is that there's a box underneath here that says need reimbursement. This is any type of payment made with non-corporate funds. So when somebody is using their own credit card to pay for something that is company related, or if they're paying cash for something and they need a reimbursement, anything that's not corporate funds related to the company is always going to be a reimbursement. And it's always going to be to the person that you're going to have to pay back, not the entity that, you know, the vendor, the place you went. Paul?
Okay, he paid with his credit card, American Express, 5421. But then he gets his statement back in a $325 service charge. Do we pay the $325 back for the service charge, or is that on him?
That's a company decision.
Yeah, that is a company
If
decision.
they want to do that for you, they should. Oh, I shouldn't say
Well,
that.
then how would you?
That's up to them.
But how, would you go back through and adjust, put that 325 on like how we did so that he would get reimbursed back for it? Or would we try to say, you know, I did click reimburse, so if that is, and we knew he was going to pay with that card, and you know that the charges are going to happen, you know.
I personally, because I'm not keeping track of his fee or that, I guess, I don't know. That's kind of a judgment call too. I'd probably just keep it as one reimbursement. And I would.
Date more than likely, because the fee we can charge later.
So we
So it
can,
would be an add-on that would go back in.
Like if I'm not current, and so like I keep getting charged interest, guess what? That ends up being on my.
That's true too. Yeah.
Like, so it's almost
Yeah.
the difference between company versus personal. Like the way that we run reimbursements inside of Adilas is if you have a reimbursement, you show me a receipt, I will pay what is on the receipt, and that's it. Because like any other fees or interest that's occurred to your account, like, I'm just gonna pay you back what I owed you. If you say, you know what, you guys didn't pay me for like 3 months, okay, submit me a new expense for some interest, and then I'll hammer that in and put that as part of the piece that I need to pay you as well. Okay? That's how I would kind of do it.
So all I did, because I maybe forgot to do it to begin with, was I went back into my edit main, select that little reimbursement button. What that did is flipped it over to, is this a reimbursement? Yes. Okay.
And I clicked that already.
So I think I have one more that I put in, and I don't know if I did that. It's right here for $60 for Brandon. So, and it was for office supplies. You already said office supplies, but yep, I did reimbursement. So now what you can do in that sense is say Brandon wants his money back now, okay, because he did pay for a couple things with cash. You can go home and you can go to your liabilities for your payables, just like you would pay your credit card bill or whatever, you're going to pay Brandon. You can look at what you owe Brandon. You don't have to figure searching for expenses or look up his name. You could, but you want to pay, remember, everything that you pay wants to come out of your payables as accounting goes.
Can I tell you one small little trick, and this is just a hint, okay? You have splits, which allows you to do multiple payments on account, even splitting things and partial paying and stuff like this. If you play in the reimbursement field, you can't just halfway pay somebody back for something, okay? It's either an all or none, just because it's kind of like, hey, this isn't even your money to begin with. Like,
I didn't know that. Well,
like,
you
if
never
you-
come up with that, I
If
guess.
you have a certain person and they have
That's
tons
good.
and tons of reimbursements, and you're like, you know what, man, I'm only going to be able to give you a little bit at a time, run it as a virtual split instead of a reimbursement. It's a small little trick, but splits allow for partial payments. Reimbursements inside the system do not. You have to say yes, 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 pay it, or just be like, I was going to pay you $200, but it looks like if I pay off just these ones, it's 180. Are you cool with that? Like, reimbursements, just because it's kind of crisscross, double tied, it doesn't allow for partials. Just as an
That's good.
FYI.
Well,
Yeah,
people usually don't want to wait either. They're like, I just want it.
Yep. And usually it's sort of small unless you've got a huge, big expense account.
Yeah.
So,
And I also noticed that when you're doing it and you're adding it in, and the expense receipt is there, and you go down, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can actually add another one to total on to your existing one that you put on.
oh, are you talking about
I'm in-
payment or which
I'm
one?
an expense receipt, and it has the color red, but then it has, you have this, your postage, but then if you scroll down, you can actually put it in again.
Okay, if you needed to, what it does is this is the line items. Right now, for this particular one, it was just one vendor or an employee and one line item and one payment. So it's like a 111. But technically, you could actually say, you owe me $500 and it's for this. If you needed to actually split it into different little accounts, or say I paid the electricity bill, but I have 10 locations. I technically want to allocate it to location A, B, C, D. Like, I might have 10 line items.
Also, I can break up that amount and break it up into different locations.
Correct. So say I go to Walmart and the total expense due is $50, but I bought some snacks, but I also bought some copy paper, and I also bought some toilet paper, okay? So potentially, the snacks and the toilet paper should not be on the same account, okay? That's food, whatever, and this was office supplies or whatever. So you could say, hey, $20 of that was office supplies, the other 25 was for snacks or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's a one-to-many relationship within that container. Once again, you have a bucket of those line items. How many pieces do you want to stick? Eventually, what you want to do is the main has to match the sum of the line items, and eventually we get the thing paid off.
Okay.
So that's why I added two, why I had you add one and me add one, because you can see how the expensing goes. So if you went to your payables and you saw that we owe Brandon money and we're ready to pay him now, you would just click on that amount in the reimbursement field. You would say, you know what, we're going to pay him for both. But look, this was for a doll.
You bought
And we're assuming it's for the office.
Okay. I have a daughter.
Right, okay, all right. And employee recognition or something. And then this is for office supplies, right? So we are going to go ahead and hit pay because we're paying both of them.
Check this out. Behind the scenes, those two little mini expenses were already set to the correct category, so they're already showing up on the P&L, okay? But what happens is on the balance sheet side, we have to say, hey, we still owe Brandon because I never spent that money. It was Brandon who spent that money. Eventually, I have to pay him back. So I'm held in the payable section under reimbursements.
Okay, so now you already expensed it out in the initial expense when he bought the things. And so now you're creating your expense. It's going to tell you that this is a reimbursement as well, just like it said if it was a PO or if it said it was another expense. And we're going to select, it's a check, and it's $13.07. And this is actually your option as a reimbursement instead of a split now like it was with the credit card payments. And we're going to create it, and now you could look at it. And this is what it is. Now it doesn't say not sure, office supplies, whatever. It just says we were reimbursing. And like he said, because the way you do your account types, when the original expense happened, then you figured out what it was for. So all that reflects in your
Correct.
P&L.
For her just paying me off right there, we altered our cash, our bank account because I physically got $100 or whatever it was, okay? We also, in the payables on the balance sheet, we no longer have a little section out there, hey, I owe Brandon. That's been completely closed because I physically got paid.
So now it reflects in your P&L as whatever it needs to be, the office furniture and whatever we put it as. Like Brandon was saying, if you went to your actual balance sheet, you're gonna start showing. Does splits show reimbursements as well?
It would be another line right below this. And just so you know, like some people look at this and they're like, whoa, that doesn't even remotely look like a balance sheet. This is kind of your general numbers.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you wanted it to physically look like a really nice looking balance sheet, there's some links above that says build a new report. And then you technically say, okay, I want it to look all cascaded in and categorized by assets and liabilities and equity. This is just kind of like, here's your numbers, here's what we're feeding you from the system, here's any sort of user maintained, and you can see that her whole section, everything we've done so far, has been on system maintained balance sheet items. We don't even have anything under user maintained.